very warm welcome to all of you. The CA results are just out, so we thought it's a good point in time to talk about success in exams. To introduce myself, I am a chartered accountant, Roopa Venkatesh, and with me today we have a very special person, CA.Annapurna Srikanth, who has aced 3 of the professional exams, which makes me very proud to be associated with her. She is the All India 3rd rank holder in the CA exam, CS, that is Company Secretaryship, and DISA. And even more creditable is the fact that she did all this after she got married and had a child. That is some commitment. So let us hear from Annapurna what kind of strategies or tricks she used to ace these exams. A very warm welcome, Annapurna.
Thank you so much, Roopa.
I thought it's a good time to talk about, how to ace an exam. Exams, especially CA exams, are considered to be very difficult, if you will. So would you be able to share some strategies, some ideas with the students?
I would say that kickstart your academic journey with positivity. So that is very important. Most of the time, we get carried away by what others say. People say that it's a tough exam, very difficult to crack. I have sailed all through of this. And in fact, we have to realize that we should believe in ourselves. We should think that it is possible. That belief, if we are able to build in, I think no external factors can, take away the determination we have. So that is very important, to have that positive feeling and vibes within us that yes, I can do it. And to add to it, I am an ardent believer of this idea, what you think will manifest, and I have experienced this personally n number of times.
Wow, that's very interesting. But getting more down to brass tacks, we are talking about students here. How should they prepare?
When you ask me about preparation, I would say there is a 3-level strategy which would be required. At the personal level, at the preparation level, and then the actual examination part of it. So the 3-level preparation is very, very important.
Very nice of you, Annapurna, to divide it into 3 levels. So let's address them one by one. At the personal level, what kind of preparation should a student do?
Giving clarity to our mind of what we want is very, very important. Many a times we miss out on that. We ourselves are not clear about what we want. So I would say that having a proper specific goal is very, very important. We always coin this as SMART goals, specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and most important, time bound. So if I relate this to my own strategy, what I applied, I would always say that have a high ambition. Low aim is always a crime, is what I would say. So what target I set for myself was, in CA finals, I said that I want to top All India. That is, I want rank 1. And when I got the results, I saw that it's rank 3. I said no. Just on the lighter side, what I suggest students here is, don't ever think that, I want a 45 in this, 55 in this, 50 in that, so that let me make it an aggregate of 150 and get through this part, or, whatever. It is very important that you set a goal higher, realizing your true potential. Aim for an exemption in each subject. That would be the strategy to start with. Apart from this, having a proper goal, it is very important to have a physical and mental health, give enough time to it. Spend a certain amount of time just to keep yourself fit. It could be a small walk in the park outside, or it could even be a 15-20 minutes of meditation to enhance your mental stability and pass through the stress times and do the stress management. It is very, very important to be physically fit and mentally strong.
Absolutely. So personally, one has to set goals, one has to be physically, mentally fit. This is at the personal level. Let's say a student is personally ready, so to speak. What should be his next step?
Okay. When it comes to the actual preparation part of it, first step, accumulate all the resources that would be required. When I say resources, the study material, a reference book, scanners, compilers, probably revision test papers, and the most precious of all, the suggested answers. We get it at the institute website free of cost, easily downloadable, unlike our times where we had to procure it physically. Now you get it at your fingertips. Make use of it. Collect at least 6 to 8 attempts paper. Go through it, and that will change your perception about the quality and standard of answering that is expected in a course, professional course like CA. Well, to start the preparation, I would suggest the students to plan for a 1 reading and understanding plus a minimum of 2 revisions. What I planned was 1 plus 3, and the third round of preparation and the fourth round, it kinds of builds in so much confidence that you know the content and you've revised it. You can access it during the exams quickly. So that revision is very, very important, and it's a scientific reason why revisions are required as well, so that it gets embedded in your memory deeper and lets you quick access during the exams.
So tell me one thing, how should a student use a scanner versus a compiler?
Okay, so especially for my final preparations, how I started was, I started quite early. I planned in such a way that I have the 3 years span in time for preparing my finals. Just I entered the articleship mode, I started parallelly the preparation. When I said initially it was like 4 hours per day of efforts what I was putting, and then I took kind of 1 year to cover all the 8 subjects. And how I would do that is, I would start with a particular chapter, cover the study material, wherever I require that I need more reference and more content to understand that, I would go for that reference material, and once I'm done with the chapter, I would refer the scanner. The best part of the scanner is they would have compiled and segregated chapter-wise questions of past 8-9 years, and that is a ready food to eat, so that you need not wait till you complete all the chapters to see what kind of questions come in the exam. So I'm done with 1 chapter preparation, I will solve the scanner then and there. So I'm more prepared now. That already adds us to my revision at that level itself. I would prefer scanners over compilers, because the difference between the two is, in the scanners you have questions and only the final answers. But when it comes to compilers, it's your spoon feed kind of a thing. You have the question as well as the answer. When we use the scanners, we try to arrive at the answer. Let's say at the first go, we did not get that final answer. So what do? We think of alternatives. We train our brain to enhance its logical skills to apply what could be another possibility to arrive at that answer. So likewise, you're brainstorming and you are enhancing the logical skills of your brain. This is very important, because unlike the graduation courses and all, CA, it's a professional course, and every time, every attempt, the question paper is new. It is not a repeat questions of any previous exams. So it is test of your conceptual understanding and the practical application of it. That being the case, you have to groom up your logical skills, and the scanners will help me out to arrive at the possible alternatives, so that when during the exams you are all prepared and you have that confidence, and your brain really starts working quickly to solve the problems, and that goes a long way to add to your confidence.
Excellent. So let's say the student has personally prepared, then they have gone through scanners and the compilers and all that. They've done a bit of work on that. But we find that students, when they go to the exam, they come out of the exam, common complaints like time was not sufficient, or it was too conceptual, I didn't know how to answer, or for a 5-mark question, I didn't have enough material to answer. So how do you address these kind of concerns?
Okay. When it comes to preparation, we need to split it into 2 things. The actual preparation part, and more importantly, the presentation part. I would rate both of them equally. So if I'm giving a 50% weightage to the preparation part, an equal 50% of weightage is very much required for the presentation. That is the mode through which the examiner will gauge you or evaluate you as to what you actually know and what is asked and what you have answered. So somewhere there is something called as the 5R technique or something, like read, revise, remember, recollect and reproduce. So this is a 5R process which actually goes. So once you've revised, you should hone your skills as to recollecting the correct material at the correct point in time. I think to add to your part where students feel that, okay, I had done my best, I don't know like who evaluated it. These are the common things which generally happen, I don't know what was the mood of that person who evaluated. All these things will come into our mind. But despite all that, how do we stand out is the critical aspect of it. So that's why I say presentation is a very, very important thing. When I interact with the students, I understand that they have put in quite an amount of efforts. Everybody is serious about their exams, but they need to focus more on the presentation skills. That is a gap which I see in some of the students. So I think they should focus on the presentation side of it. Now, how do they understand or how do they develop on this? I have a suggestion here that, doing mock tests of at least 2 attempts, the latest attempts. So out of whatever the 7-8 attempts, whatever you've accumulated, go through the first 6, but the last 2 keep it for your mock test and be serious about it. Tell everybody at home that 3 hours you're going to give as if an exam, and in that simulated examination condition, be honest to yourself, 3 hours, give the best and write that exam. And that doesn't end there. The most important part of the mock test is that you have to evaluate it yourself. That is when you get to know what is right, what is wrong. The suggested answer, as I said, it is a treasure house for me. So take that, what you have answered, what is the expected standard or quality of answering. If you compare both of it, when you self-evaluate your own papers, you will realize where you stand and bridge that gap and gear up yourself for that. So that is a very important exercise that not only helps in enhancing the presentation quality, on the other hand, it helps in time management. So the common complaint, time was not sufficient. First thing, we have that additional 15 minutes of time even before we get the answer papers to review the entire paper and to get a hang of it. At that time itself, decide the most comfortable answers which you have, because start off with that questions which you are very comfortable with. That will give an impression about your entire presentation or entire answer sheet to the evaluator. So when you do that, track the timings question to question. We get 180 minutes of time in a 3 hours paper, and we have 100 marks to answer for. So it's like 1.8 minutes per mark. So for a 5-mark question, you shouldn't be spending more than 9 minutes. For a 10-mark question, you shouldn't be spending more than 18 minutes. This question to question tracking is very important. Just because I'm comfortable with a particular question, if I spend more time than required, I will miss out answering the entire 100 marks paper. It is very, very important that we answer the entire 100 marks in the given span of time by appropriate time planning, which comes out with this mock test preparation. I think that is a very, very important exercise to do before actually appearing for the examination.
Very well said. Also, I find that sometimes when you look at the answer papers, they are written in a manner which does not interest me to read it. Forget about evaluation. What would you tell students in terms of both language as well as presentation of the paper?
The first thing students should do is empathize themselves and step into the shoes of the evaluator. See, on an average, probably an evaluator would be evaluating 20 odd papers in a day, and 20 odd papers of 20 pages each. Average, if we keep it, is 400 pages one has to go through. So thinking from the evaluator's perspective, if students think that out of that bundle of 20 set of answer papers, how do I make my answer sheet stand out? How do I make the job of the evaluator easy is a very, very important thing. So one is concise. Give it to the point. Use the technical words. Don't dilute the content. Keep it bulleted. Underline the important points. Block the definitions. Make the job of the examiner easy so that he will see what is required. Evaluate it stepwise. Give the designated marks and you can go with it. So that is very important when it comes to the presentation side of it, where you make your answer sheet very much appealable and enthusing for the evaluator to look in for it. And very important, whenever there are assumptions, I'm sure some of the questions are open to assumptions. There could be 2 possible assumptions in a scenario. I remember in my MAFA paper, I had some of the questions which were open to two assumptions. So that is kind of presumed to be one of the toughest papers, and even I got scared initially when I prepared. But I'm very happy to share that the outcome is I got a 90 in MAFA, bagging All India highest in that. So the strategy what I used was, whenever it comes to the assumptions part, I just asked myself which assumption is more appropriate. So I solved the detailed manner of that answer using that assumption, but at the end quickly sneaked time and arrived at the final answer had it assumed the other way. So put a note that the above answer has been presumed based on this assumption. Had it been assumed the other way, this would have been the answer. See how you can, create that impression that the hold you have on the subject. So that goes a long way on acing the, in the exams.
Yeah. And in every question paper, if you have even one such coup, so to speak, I think your game is really acing. So that's great. It was lovely speaking to you, Annapurna. It was great to know that there are small things that each student can do on a daily basis in a disciplined manner, whether it is in terms of preparation, whether it is in terms of collection of material, whether it is in terms of actually presenting in the paper. So I'm sure if the students were to follow this, they would be very much benefited by getting appropriately good marks, acing the exams, and doing well in their careers. Do you have any last famous message, if you will?
Okay, so very important. Keeping your cool at the examination hall is very, very important. I've seen hours and days of efforts will go for the preparation and everything will go down the drain because you get stressed out. Once you look at the question paper, you start trembling, all that things happen. Many students face this. So it's very important to be, as I said, mentally strong and stable. So the first check whether you're normal when you're writing the answer paper is very, very important. And the easiest way to do is check on your breath. If you are not breathing helter-skelter, but you're breathing normally, that is the hint that you're in the normal state of mind to start writing or reading the exam paper for that matter. So, and it's a very easy way of just focus on your breath, bring down to this regular calm, cool, normal breathing stage, and then you're all set to do it. And another tip which I have for the students is the don'ts after exams are done. The moment they come out of the examination hall, they start discussing with the enthusiasm with the other students. Oh, did that problem got tallied for you? And they start checking at the textbooks and all. Okay, did I write this properly and all that? I think there's no point to do that at that point in time at least.
It's over.
It's over. Over is over. Past is done. Forget about it. How it went, just forget about it. Good, bad, ugly, worse, whatever it is, forget about it. Take a fresh breath. Take a nice nap. You would have done a lot of hard work, late nights, early mornings and all that. Your body needs rest. So give your body that rest. Let it rest. Let the mind rest. Then, energize your body and prepare for the next paper. Don't you dare think about what happened in the previous paper till you finish all the papers at least. So that is one important aspect which I wanted to share. And I'm sure the results are out. Some would have aced or some would have cleared and some would have got exemption in some things. Maybe some wouldn't have made it through. It's just another exam. You have your life, which is more important. Don't get depressed, disappointed as if, it is all over. No, never. Just introspect yourself. What went wrong? And take a step back. Do that, enhanced preparation and bounce back. So it's very important that you bring back your mind to that positivity, move out from that all the negative emotions it's quite but natural. If you want to cry out from your heart, vent it out, just be done with it. Don't carry with the same thing when you come for the, for the next level of preparations. I just want to add one more thing here. Every day when I used to prepare, I used to visualize that as if I have obtained that rank and, I'm getting honored for this. All these things, the techniques which we listen of how to manifest our thoughts into things and all that, I used to do this. So every time I used to get that internal motivation to prepare, to give my best. And today we are in this era of, technological evolution and revolution and all that. So mobiles have become like oxygen for us, an inevitable part. So actually it takes your focus off. Every now and then you keep like, okay, what's the notification? What's that happening? Who is chatting what and all that? Have a discipline, have sanctity to your preparations. You can, do a kind of a yoga of no mobile for a month or something when you're preparing. Give that sanctity for your preparations. That is very important so that you don't miss your focus on, because this is a professional course and it definitely requires consistent and persistent and focused efforts. And imagine once you're out this, you have ocean of opportunities, and that is a great motivator for if you want to succeed in life. These are little things, little sacrifices which you need to make and bring in that discipline when you're doing your preparations.
Very well said, Annapurna. And so I invite all students and everybody who's watching this to this wonderful sea of opportunities which are available. Ace your exams, clear your exams, and then you will find that the world is just like an oyster and you have all the pearls to pick. All the very best for all your forthcoming exams.
Yes, I would also like to wish each student all the very best. Give your best and take these tips and techniques which can help you out and organize yourself. Be self-accountable, and I think nothing can stop you. Don't get carried away by any external constraints.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.